fastest lap too.
Oh, look at you go.
Box.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching right around the world. It's time for round 5 of the GamerGearDirect LifeLine Sprint Series tonight, coming to you from the beautiful Watkins Glen circuit in the United States of America. And tonight you join us right at the beginning of a 15-minute qualifying session, and then we are going to get into a 45-minute race. One compulsory pit stop for fuel. A minimum is 1 litre. No pit window and a short formation lap. And alongside me to talk all about it here tonight is Chuck Cameron, Voodoo Nigerian Prince Norris. Whatever you want to call him. Good evening to you, Prince.
Yeah, good evening, good evening. It's good to be back. We're getting to the closing end of this series here, Trev. And, oh man, Watkins Glen tonight, round 5 of 6. We're almost there.
Almost there. There is our track map on the screen. We're watching Johnny Senekis, the South African, who his birthday has... it wasn't his birthday last week, but his birthday is coming very, very shortly. And there you can see the track map on your screen. Plenty of corners to get it wrong here. And from all reports, Chuck Norris, on PC, turn 1 can be a little bit spicy.
Yeah, so turn 1 and the run to bus stop can be quite treacherous on the opening lap. I mean, most of the time, PC drivers tend to die in between that section of track, and I don't know. I'm hoping everyone survives here tonight because it's a beautiful track, and these conditions are looking like they're going to be dry.
Speaking of not dying here tonight, let's take a look at the championship table. Not sure how I made that connection, but it is Tom Maloney on two. Get a load of this, Prince, at the top of the championship standings. 259 points for Tom Maloney. Then it's Johnny Senekis on 258. Matt Spinazzi, 257. And then it's Jerry Zeri on 250. And the rest of them, you can see it on your screen. Prince, it is very, very tight, and with only 2 rounds to go, every point means so much, doesn't it, towards the end of this championship?
Yeah, absolutely. We adopted a different point system for this series, and I've got to admit, it's been keeping things closer than I actually anticipated, which is great, you know? We've got 2 points literally separating the 1, 2, and 3, so it's going to be tense. I'm looking forward to seeing what Ford's going to look like after this round, because when we get into that final round next week at Kyalami, I got a feeling it's going to be anyone's battle for possibly the top 4 for the championship.
As we take a look, speaking of the championship, we're taking a look at our championship leader. And a good turnout tonight too, Prince. 23 drivers from Bab to Knobs. There is plenty of drivers, also plenty of drivers out there on the circuit jostling for position here tonight, Prince, looking to get their lap time in. Qualifying, interesting time for qualifying, both qualifying and the race taking place at 6 a.m. On a Saturday and a Sunday. Interesting early start here at this track.
Yeah, so interesting time to start. It's very early for our pixelated spectators, but they seem to be not rugged up as you'd expect on a chilly Saturday morning at 6 a.m.
And why would you when it's 15 degrees local temperature, as we've got a yellow flag for something. I think that might have been a Siciliano going back to the pits, or it might be Cooley Mango, who's here for the memes. Not that I can see them, because that looks like a very memeless car, if I don't say so myself. But 10 minutes remaining in this session. Let's have a look at who's doing the business at the moment. And it's Kebab with a 44.660. We've only got 4 drivers in the 44s here tonight, but I've got a feeling, Prince, that we're going to see these drivers going quicker as the track rubbers in during qualifying.
Yeah, I did see some drivers creeping into the 43s during our practice before the server reboot, but I got a feeling this fast track, or as I say that, Mr. Sneakers almost goes into the 43s. I was about to say we might not see the 43s because of the fast track, but I'm about to be proven wrong here, Trev.
And it's not going to be too long before we see these drivers into the 43s there. And we should be seeing similar or identical times, Prince. That's always a traditional thing here in the GamerGearDirect LifeLine Sprint Series. How good are our sponsors? Oh, Senecas! That was a sideways Senecas through the bus stop. That's a tricky, tricky corner. And I can't wait to see 23 drivers streaming through that on lap 1, Prince. But with less than 9 minutes to go, we've got Matt Spinazzi in the pits. Robbie Maddox up there as well with a 44.6. But it seems at this stage, at least for pole position anyway, to be a 2-horse race between Johnny Senecas and Mbab. And let's have a look at some of the other drivers. We've got Tom Maloney yet to set a time. And the Gingerbread Man yet to set a time halfway through this session, Prince. Is the pressure on him here tonight?
Yeah, the pressure would be amounting to quite a bit. He was quite quick in practice, so I think it's just about making sure that you've got that available track space. And, our viewers can see the track map, and it's very chaotic towards that second and third sector. There's not really many in that first sector at the moment. So with 8 minutes on the clock, I'd probably personally try and find a bit of a gap, make my way in and get a good time in, like Mr. Maloney's trying to do here, because, starting up the front at Watkins Glen is where you want to be.
And we're going to stick with Tom Maloney. In fact, we're going to go better than that. We're going to ride on his bumper, if you don't mind, as we get ready to come through the final part of the lap. Meantime, Cooley Mango Sauce has gone to the top of the timing sheets with a 44.022. Not quite into the 43s, Prince. Will this lap be inside the 43s? That's the question, because he's 1.5 seconds up on the Delta. And this is going to be pacey, if you don't mind, as he comes through the final quarter. Important find that apex. Not quite hitting the apex. He runs a little bit wide, trying to avoid that wall on the left-hand side. Where's it going to put him, Prince? Oh, P3. P3 for Tom Maloney. But look at Cooley Mango up at the top there with a 44.022. Who else have we got? Prince, we've got the Kebab Man a 10th up as he comes towards the end of his lap here.
Yeah, so Mr. Kebab, he's up about 2/10 now. So this last sector where he's just kind of gone through on iRacing, you can take a lot of track there. Where here you can't really exceed the white lines, and this corner coming up as well. Likewise, you can actually go really wide off the track. Where here you can't quite do that. So a lot of these drivers utilizing the most of the track that they can while not invalidating their lap. So Mr. Maloney does look like he lost quite a bit of time there in that final part of the sector. So still 6 minutes to go. He might still plop himself onto the front row of the grid.
As we take a look at Robbie Maddox, who was 2/10 up on this lap, but Bradley is slowing him down. What's going on here, Prince? What is happening here?
Everyone's entitled, and they've got their right to obviously have their own space to put in a time. So Mr. Bradley doing what he's meant to be doing, and Mr. Maddox doing the right thing by slowing down now, making sure he's got a little bit of gap, and then he can send it on. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Mr. Bradley can do. His performance has been really, really good this season. So I'm looking forward to seeing where he can put himself.
And let's take a look. That is Buzhinetsky. And he's in the pit lane at the moment. I don't think we're going to be seeing our Russian friend anytime soon with 5.5 minutes remaining. Let's have a look at Tommy Emmanuel. Where is he? He's inside the top 20. And my goodness, Prince, we are going to be in for absolute humdinging, zinging, zinger box, large zinger box with a Pepsi, if you don't mind, because this midfield battle, I know we bang on about it like a couple of old lads every week, but this midfield battle, the race for that top 10, is going to be super scintillating tonight.
I have to agree. I'm looking at these times and I'm like, if you look at the top 11, it's just over a second, or top 12 now, just over a second. And if you go down to, where is it? P22, just over 2 seconds, is 22 drivers. So these drivers are on the money tonight. These times are just so close, as we see every week.
And best lap all night, says Saldragas. Thank you for joining us. Viney getting twitchy with it. Na. Oh, and that's into the wall. And spin. He goes around, and that is Mr. Viney there. 2 seconds, like we said, off of provisional pole position. As we've got M-Glow down the main straight, going very, very slowly here. I'm just trying to see on these times, Prince, if anybody is improving. We've got a Johnny Sinekis, who's still sitting there with a 44.070, and Kebab with a 44.072, Prince. It hasn't happened, but it's still very close.
Yeah, it's kind of scaring me now. I just want somebody to get into the 43s. They're getting so close. It's only a little bit more, lads. Come on, just a 43, just one.
Woo! Well, you know what scaring people sounds like, Prince. You've so that didn't quite come out how I would have liked it. But the sun is rising here in the United States, and the big question is, can anybody at all, beat this man, Cooley Mango, from pole position? He's here for the memes, of course, as he's starting another lap. He's looking very quick indeed. Johnny Sinekis, as we take a look at him. Traffic is possibly going to become an issue, but Prince, can you believe it? Round 4 of this championship, as my dog keeps staring up at me. Can't pick you up just at the moment, but only 2 rounds to go. These seasons, they're short, sharp, punchy seasons that deliver plenty of action.
Yeah, so this is actually round 5, but yeah, so 2 more weeks to go. So we've got tonight and then the season finale next week at Kailami. And on top of the season finale next week, it's not just a season finale here for Shakedown and the GamerGearDirect LifeLine Sprint Series, but I want to add in the 4 hours of Kailami.
Did you hear that?
The Australian, New Zealand PS5.
Not 1, not 2, not 6, but 5 hours minus 1, 4 hours of Kailami. How good is that going to be? And Charity Month is 3/4 of the way through, but we are still rocking the streams, Prince, albeit on a different PC. And hello, Macbeth from Shakespeare and Macbeth just goes to the top with a 43.880. We've got Cooley Mango Sauce looking to beat it. He's 2/10 up, Prince.
Yeah, so Mr. Mango, he's not too far off. He might end up taking pole position away from Mr. Macbeth here,
I
but
think.
I'm looking a little bit further down, and Mr. Spinazzi is almost at that
Oh,
same position.
43.690, and where is the Spinaz? Spinazzi, P3 for Matt Spinazzi, and we've got a bit of Partington action. Partington Bear comes across the line. Where does that put him? I think he might be starting another run, but wow, 43.8 for Macbeth, who's back in the pit lane along with Cooley Mango, and a 43.6 for Mr. Cooley, and I've got to say that is very, very quick. We thought we'd see more drivers potentially in the 43s as we see Johnny Senekis. And where is our championship leader? Only down in 10th, Prince, can you believe?
Yeah, so very, very tough, but it's one of those tracks that, you know, the smallest of mistakes around here, a lot of the corners are off camber, and you know, they change direct, like obviously the corners change direction as you're going through them, but you know, it's like as you're say turning a left, it might be turning left, but it might be like bowing outwards, if that makes sense. So very tricky track indeed.
Let's have a look at our championship leader, only good enough for 9th. Wow, let's have a look further down the order as we've got Mr. Viney. We saw him having a moment a few moments ago, if you know what I'm trying to say. He's sitting on a 46.1, but he's 5/10 up, Prince.
Yeah, 5/10 is quite a bit here, and all you need is a tenth to bump yourself up, maybe a position or two or even more. So 5/10 might boost him up quite a way. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this lap goes for Mr. Viney.
And Viney, Mr. Viney, hello, Mr. Viney. That's a very good-looking livery on your Merc. And I said I wouldn't sing, but let's have a look. Viney, 22nd now as we tick down to the final seconds of qualifying. There's a lot of drivers in the pits, Prince, but there's a few still continuing their lap. One of them, I think, is Muriel's Wedding. Down there in P19, but we might stick with Mr. Viney as he comes across the line. Can he improve on 22nd? You know what, Prince? He can. He goes 21st. Very nicely done.
Yeah, great improvement there. 5/10 or just under 6/10, I believe. So great improvement by Mr. Viney.
As we take a look at the next across the line, it's going to be a bit of Johnny Senekis as what can he do? Currently 4th. Let's see what he can do across the line. What's it going to be for Mr. Senekis? He's going to stay 4th, but I can tell you something now. We've got Mr. Kebab, who is, oh, hello, 4/10 up on this lap, Prince. Could this be the lap? He's losing a bit of time here, though. I think he might have made a mistake somewhere. He was gaining, but I think this might be it. He's a couple of tenths up. Oh, bang! Crash! And that could be the end of the lap. I don't think he's going to improve as he limps across the line like a limp salad lettuce, and that's the end of it. I think we've got the Russian Pryatko, and he's coming around the final couple of sectors, the final couple of corners, Prince, and he's also pulled off as well. And loving that Soviet Union vibe there with the livery. You probably can't say that, Prince, but that is the end of qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, and it is your man, Cooley Mango Sauce, on pole position. He's here for the memes, Prince, but he's getting the results. And then it's Macbeth, Spinazzi, Johnny Senekis. Ah, yeah, that's really good. And then it's Kebab, Tom Maloney, our championship leader, in 6th. Boxall in 7th, Robbie Maddox, and Jamie Conboy. He's a convoy down there in 9th. In fact, might even be our championship leader. I think I'm getting Maloney and McDonald mixed up. Partington outside the top 10. Then it's Bub now. And Herod in 13th. Tommy Emmanuel in 14th. Mglow, Huddy, Murphy. Killian Murphy there in 7th, fresh off Oppenheimer. Then it's Jerry Zeri down in 18th. And then it's Muriel's Wedding down there in 19th. A bit of Ed Scarney, not Nick Scally, the furniture specialist. Then it's Paul Viney, and then it's Biznietsky. I don't think he's the Russian. I think I'm getting him mixed up with Pryadko. Then it's Sissi Zelanio, and then it's Bracken, Larry Perkins. Then it's the Russian Pryadko, Bradley, and we've got a bit of Victor Nobbs bringing up the rear as we get ready to go racing in less than 2 minutes' time. Can you believe it? Nigerian Prince, and I've got to do something here, Prince. Hit drive again.
Escape and drive. Yep.
Escape and drive, the two most beautiful things that you'd love to do in the English language. As well, Prince, 90 seconds before we start this race here tonight, round 5 of this championship, 45 minutes of absolute action, and I can't wait to see what we're going to what are we expecting there into turn 1.
I'm hoping everyone's nice and patient and nice and clean. It's a 45-minute race here tonight, so everyone's got to come in for fuel at some point. We've got no pit windows, so it's going to be one of those things where last time we had the pit window on for this scenario, there was a couple of incidents and people came in and obviously they couldn't complete their mandatory pit stop, but they could fix their damage. So I've opted to remove the pit window just in case, because I do like to see everybody in the running as we're taking a look at the championship boards just before we get this one underway.
We certainly are, Prince. Beautifully done indeed. It is Tom Maloney who is starting P6 on top of your championship standings. Just 2 races to go. 2 races, that's right. And then it's Johnny Sinekis in second there. Matthew Spinazzi in third. Then it's Jerry Zeri in fourth. M Glow in fifth. Robbie Maddox, Cooley, Chris Mango Sauce, Bub Now, Herod, loving these names. Peter Viney. And there we go. He's not the football player. I think I'm thinking of Jack Viney for the Melbourne Football Club. But enough about that, because we have seconds remaining before we're underway here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you what, the Prince's graphics card might be down, but we are well and truly looking after you. Yes! And Sideways is now following Prince. How good is that? And there's that follower goal there, 222 of 250. Oh, the voice is up the Shizer Prince, but we've got Sideways following us and enjoying being part of this beautiful family here.
Yeah, exactly. We love everybody joining the KRL family and the Kid Buyers family as well. So if you're out there and you haven't hit that follow button yet, definitely do, because this one's about to go green and I'm going to leave it for trip.
And here we go, round 5 of this championship in the GamerDirect LifeLine Sprint Series is go, go, go. And it's Chris Cooley Mango Sauce getting a beautiful start, but Matthew Spinazzi putting pressure on him as we go down into turn 1. And then it's Nicholas Macbeth slotting into second. 2 by 2 by 2 they go through the opening couple of corners here. Zoom, 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 zoom. And the motion, and somebody's knocked off a couple of cones. Not uncommon throughout the weekend, as there's a black and orange flag waving for something, but they all stream down into the bus stop for the first time. Wow, look at the lights. The lights on the hill are blinded me. But it's Cooley Mango Sauce leading this race. We've got a few changes in position. Tommy Emmanuel's jumped up along with M Glow. Have they all got through cleanly? I think there's somebody at the back. It looks like Larry Perkins has run into some trouble, Prince.
Yeah, so Mr. Perkins seems to be the only one that ran into trouble, but honestly, what a start from everybody. This is killer. Like, the 2 wide scenarios, as we see the issue with Mr. Perkins there, just got a little bit onto the curb, unfortunately, but thankfully no damage. Everyone's gotten off to a clean start. We survived bus stop. This is going to be one crazy race, as there is absolutely nothing between everybody right now. Absolutely
nothing in it. And there we have it as we get back to the live action. Thank you very much as we head back to the business end. And my goodness, look at the chain of cars. And look at this. It's Cooley Mango leading by less than a second. Then it's Macbeth. Right behind him, Spinazzi and Johnny Sinekis. The South African getting busy here as we come across the line into lap 2. Prince, and somebody's peeled off into the pits. I wonder what that's all about. But Sinekis making moves, and the South African is now up into P3.
Yeah, so he's doing really, really good for himself. It's something that we always see from Johnny. Sometimes he might not get that qualifying lap in that he needs, but he always seems to bring it out during the race. But I heard you talking about a lot of people jumping into pit lane early, Trev. We've got about 4 runners that decided to come into pit lane early, and I got a feeling these guys, because there is no pit window, I got a feeling they're going to be playing out the gamble of coming in early, get their 1 litre fuel stop done, have clean air, and I'm looking forward to seeing where these guys end up at the end of the race. This might be like a master plan strategy.
And no pit window, like you heard the gorgeous Prince talk about. 1 compulsory pit stop, though, for fuel, minimum 1 litre. So you don't have to take too much on board as we take a look now. Johnny Senekis not exactly skipping away down the road here from Matt Spinazzi. And geez, if you could just sit still, my dog there on the commentary box gaming chair. Johnny Senekis in 3rd. Don't let my personal affairs distract you from the fact that we have an absolute zinger humdinger happening here at the moment. A few drivers have made their stops, and then we've got Buznetsky further down the field, and the Russian in his Soviet mobile going down the inside. They're making some moves inside the top 20 now with a very sexy move on Bradley.
Yeah, doing really, really good. Chris, he's been doing really good this season. I've actually been really, really proud of him. You know, he's been excelling. His performance has continued to be growing, and you know, he's showing himself that he's putting himself right into the middle of these battles. He's given Mr. Pryatko a bit of a run for his money, and he's got Mr. Knobs not too far behind.
Certainly is, as Pryatko then, the Russian Pryatko says, "Don't go down my inside. I sound like Dracula." But he's inside the top 20, but for how long we don't know, Prince, because this is what we love about the Sprint Series, GamerGearDirect Sprint Series with Shakedown, because you just have battles absolutely every single place you look. There is battles everywhere, as Victor Knobs there, who started last, I believe, is up to 21st. Larry Perkins. Oh! And we have a spinning Russian, Prince.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of drivers get caught out there, so I can't remember who I watched earlier. I saw a yellow flag pop up, and I went back on my end and had a watch, and somebody got a bit loose on that curb and unfortunately died into the barrier. So that curb and the barrier have been claiming quite a few people so far, Trey.
Sweet mother of mercy, as I look at the fastest lap of the race, would you believe, Nigerian Prince, is now a 1:44.525. That is 6/10 quicker than Mr. Macbeth in 2nd.
Yeah, Mr. Cooley, he's a man on a mission at the moment. He's trying to build as much of a gap as he can. So this is probably going to help extend his lead and try and get him into the championship standings as we come into the closing round next week. But Mr. Macbeth has got everything riding on him at the moment. He's got Mr. Sneakers right behind, and Mr. Sneakers is going to want to get past so he can catch up to Mr. Cooley as quick as he can.
1.666. That's right, Prince, your number there. 1.666 seconds ahead of Nicholas Macbeth. And this man is driving in some sort of AI-generated cybernet Terminator world, where you get the 12-gauge autoloader and the phase plasma rifle in the 40-watt range. Remember when Terminator goes into the weapons store and starts asking for guns that don't exist, Prince? But that's what sort of level this man's on at the moment. It's up to 2 seconds. It's visually getting bigger as I look at it, and I wish that was the case for some other things, Prince, but he is flying at the moment.
Yeah, he's a man on a mission. His best lap of 44.525. His last lap was a 44.555. So he's very consistent at the moment, which is something that we'd like to see. And consistency at this pace is just going to keep on building that gap.
And let's have a look at the rest of them, as Macbeth and Sideways says Cooley has always been a weapon. Good to see him still going strong. Is that our latest follower, Prince? How good is Sideways?
Sure is. Sideways, I'm glad to see you here, and thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you again for the follow. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Do not go anywhere. 38 minutes of crazy, superlative action. Can't think up enough of the phrases to use as we take a look at Cooley Mango. Not Cooley Mango, Nicholas Macbeth across the line. So a 1:44 last time around. Sweet mother of Jesus, Prince. If we can say that, that is super quick. A 1:44 flat.
Yeah, this is crazy, crazy quick. So Mr. Cooley, he's actually participating in the SRO GT World Challenge Esports Series, I believe, at the moment. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a couple of other drivers that we've got participating there. But Mr. Cooley's been an outstanding performer over there too. So he's coming here and he's showing us what he's made of, as he always does.
As let's take a look at the Russian Pryatko, and let's see what he's doing, Prince. Give us a driver's perspective around this circuit. He's looking to make some moves as we head towards the bus stop on C. Bradley, and he gets it right. And you can see now that he's made that move, and you can see his rear wing there. It says eat, sleep, repeat, and these two having an almighty battle here, and it might only be for P19 or P20, but still it is a fantastic battle nonetheless, and a great move there. Always difficult to make the move and get your car slowed down for the bus stop, but on that occasion, the Russian managing to do it.
Yeah, it's a scary one. It's a lot to do with commitment and trust in your fellow driver. Mr. Bradley obviously picked the better line, chose to back out a little bit early. Mr. Pryatko was obviously basing, if I get far enough up, hopefully he backs out and I can just clean through, which is what happened. And honestly, every time I see drivers about to go too wide into bus stop, it scares the daylights out of me. Because I personally, one time, Trev, I went 3 wide through the bus stop, and somehow we lived. Second time round, we died. So it's a scary one, even 2 wide.
You're still here to tell the story, but gee, that does sound scary. I've seen 2 go in. Sometimes 1 going through there is scary enough. As Boxall's in the pits, along with somebody else. I think P. Huddy, not P. Diddy, P. Huddy into the pits. From 18th, there's a yellow flag, and this looks like a Shawnee Bub now facing the wrong way. We're going to get a replay of this, Prince. Oh, bang, and he was facing the wrong way as he came out of that corner. Incredible.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate there. Must have just grabbed a little bit of that curb. Sometimes it's the smallest things around here, but he's done well to keep it into that left-hand side of the fence. So he does look like he's gotten it rotated around nice and cleanly, and hopefully it hasn't affected him too much. Hopefully not much damage, but we might see him come in and get that mandatory stop done on this lap.
He is back, pointing in the right direction. He's really testing the commentator's curse, isn't he, Prince? He was trying to be brave with that one, but there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your man in 18th. Up front, though, it's still Cooley Mango there, 4 seconds in the lead, but this is the battle which can have massive ramifications for the championship, because Johnny Senekis, he's going to go this way, he's going to go that way, but I reckon he's lining him up for a pass here, and that is the worst South African accent I've ever heard. But he's in P3, but he's not going to be in P3 for long with some of this pace that he's showing now.
Yeah, so it seems to be that the Mercedes has got a little bit more oomph that keeps him just in front of Mr. Senekis. So this battle, though, I just want to reiterate, though, this battle is closing Mr. Maloney in. So Mr. Maloney and Mr. Spinazzi, not too far behind, they're watching this battle go on. They know they're losing time, and they're only gaining. So this might end up to be like a 4-way battle for P2.
It could end up that way, as we see Johnny Senekis going through the bus stop as he continues to chase down Ed Macbeth here at Watkins Glen, round 5. Oh, he's got a good exit there, round 5 of this championship. And great to have you watching us, wherever you're watching right around the world. It is Shakedown Sim Racing at its very, very best. And this track, old school, not a lot of runoff area. If you go off, the track is going to bite you in the arse. And it's not quite 9 p.m. here on the eastern seaboard, so not sure whether we can use that racy sort of language, but Johnny Senekis, and it seems to me you live your life like a Johnny Senekis, waiting to pass Macbeth, and I reckon he's going to do it soon, and he's getting very close, using every bit of the track there, Prince, and this is bringing Maloney, not Mahoney from Police Academy, but oh, we got a yellow flag out for something as well. I think it's Jerry Zeri, and has gone around Prince. Oh, and just getting it all wrong, and next thing you've got the back of the car overtaking you.
Yeah, so like we were talking about, that little bit of curvature there can and has claimed quite a few people over the course of this race. So Mr. Zeri is not obliged to it. You know, the curvature doesn't care who you are or, you know, what you believe in. It's going to claim you at some point.
It certainly is, as we'll get to some of the other battles happening through the field. And I guarantee you there are some, as we have a look now. He's not going to get it done there. Wow, Prince, I'm with you. I reckon every time I see more than one car go in there, I really start to get a little bit concerned and a little bit twitchy and a little bit edgy and all of the above. But there's Shawnee Bub now, who's well down the field. In fact, he's so far down the field, he's in 25th position, which is the last spot here tonight. But meanwhile at the front, it's Cooley Chris Mango Sauce, who's in the World Championships of esports racing, I think, for ACC. But look how close it is, Prince, as we see the South African making moves, or trying to make moves here.
Yeah, he's been trying his hardest. I've got to feel, if I was Mr. Sneakers, I'd try and come in early. You know you're losing quite a bit of time to the guys in front, so to make the most of it, early pit stop might not hurt, but at this point in time, I think the early pit stop might hurt. It's a short pit lane now, for this week at least. It's a short pit lane, so by the time you come in, do about that 3-second stop for the minimum fuel requirement. You probably plonk yourself out somewhere you don't want to be, so maybe he's just trying to bide his time. Oh, he's coming in early.
Prince, what did you say, Prince? What did you say? That is a two-time multiple championship winner for KRL as we come in on the bonnet or bumper, whatever you like. In fact, I think it might be the bumper camera, and we wait for our invisible pit crew to do their work. While they're doing that, we might take a look at Macbeth in second. We might take a look at a battle here, Prince, as the sun begins to arise here at Watkins, Glen. And we've got Stan Sicilano outside the top 10, but he's less than a second off of Mr. Bracken.
Yeah, so Mr. Bracken sent me a message earlier today, and he was like, is it okay if I jump in for tonight? I'm looking at a bit of a race. I was like, yeah, easy done, let's lock you in. So he's come out of nowhere. He's had a bit of a break from us for Shakedown, and he's come back, and he's having a right old battle. And Mr. Siciliano, apologies, Dan, if I butchered your name. I've been trying my best for a few years to get that one right. But Mr. Siciliano, he's doing really good. He's been struggling over the last few weeks with the McLaren, but he seems to almost be in his element here tonight.
Siciliano, as
very Italian.
Didn't think my microphone was on there. I was trying to just pronounce that in the privacy of my own home. But we might get back to the broadcast camera. The Russian is in 13th, 1.6 seconds off of Larry Perkins. And I've got to say, one thing that this man is doing is making a comeback here, Prince. We saw him in all sorts of trouble on lap 1, now in P12 and doing very nicely.
Yeah, he is doing very good. You know, it's something which I was worried about when he first registered. I was like, oh, how's the ping limit going to be, you know? But I've been very impressed with his performance over the course of this season. Not only has he proven himself to be a quick and clean driver, but, you know, he's very respectful of, you know, making sure that he's got enough room allocated just in case ping does play a factor. So very proud of his effort here tonight so far.
Great stuff. The Siberian ping is going absolutely fantastically. And there we have it. So let's take a look at what else is happening. I think we've got a battle here between Muriel's Wedding in the Alpha Tauri Black, which looks a little bit like an Alpha Tauri. And he's up right behind Jerry Zeri. How have you seen Jerry Zeri's race tonight? A bit disappointing. Usually used to seeing that man a little bit higher up the order, Prince.
Yeah, so he was a bit disappointed. I actually had a chat to him last week, and he was like, what's up with the pro tag? Why'd you give me the pro tag? You know, he didn't want it. He wanted to stay pro-am, you know, but unfortunately his early mistake here, which is a simple one to make around Watkins Glen, has kind of put him further back from where we would say expect to see him. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to see him a little bit further up tonight, but I got a feeling tonight might hurt his championship results a little bit. I believe he's P4 currently, so hopefully it doesn't hurt him too much, but he's still a man on a mission. He's still going to be trying to claw out that time to Mr. Huddy.
Absolutely spot on. P4 in the championship, 250 points. So this is going to seriously affect his championship if he cannot get a move on. 27 minutes to go in this race. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, recapping 10 laps in to this 45-minute race here at Watkins Glen, and it is Chris Cooley Mango, or Chris Cooley as he's more commonly known here, with a big lead at the moment, 8.5 seconds. It's going up every lap. That last lap was a 44.357, and his best is a 44 flat. And then it's Nicholas Macbeth in second place, and our championship leader, the gingerbread man, who's he's doing a bit of an Alain Prost at the moment, the professor. He's just doing what he needs to, isn't he, Prince? We haven't called his name too much tonight, but he's still in a podium position and in a pretty good spot here, P3, and looking good for the championship as well.
Yeah, so Mr. Sneakers did do that early pit stop, so if Mr. Sneakers was still up the front here, Mr. Maloney would be about P4, I'd say. But we'll have to see how that develops later on, because he's had a bit of clear air and, you know, it's been working for him. So, you know, I'm sure he'll still be on the top provisionally at the end of this one, but it's between him and Mr. Sneakers. You know, there's only 1 point difference, not much at all.
And it is very close indeed. 1.3 between this man, Maloney, and Macbeth, and then Matt Spinazzi, 2.2, keeping it cool. And it's Tarquin Finton who says the power went out, and I hope he's following. Prince, Tarquin, if first of all, thank you for letting us know. And it's not good that his power went out, Prince. Happened to me on Friday, lost a whole 6 hours of power there on Friday afternoon. And I've got to say, once the devices and the tablets and the phones run out of charge, it gets quite scary, Prince, because you've got to talk to each other and people start turning on each other as well.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, you go back a few years and everyone starts, you know, it's survival of the fittest, you know, it's almost like an episode of Bear Grylls.
Yeah, it certainly is. Just popped me, Prince, in a very desolate place, and I'll manage to get out of there with my 37 TV crew and production crew handing me meals and different things all the time. That's very bad, but Tarkin, yeah, it's terrible. It's like you're living in the 1960s or whatever. They probably had power back then, but well and truly before my time. And you know how it goes. Remember, what was that? Remember Bear Grylls, the show on Discovery Channel, Prince? He always wanted to be dropped into a desolate place and try and survive, and all the rest of it. But we've got, what do we got? 23 drivers trying to survive here, Prince, with 24 minutes to go. That is our main focus tonight. And Tarquin Finton, if you are not following, Prince, what does he need to do?
Mr. Pete Viney, if you haven't followed the stream, please do consider hitting that follow button. It would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, we're sorry to see that your power went out. I did have a couple of messages from people earlier saying, sorry, I won't be able to make it tonight. The power situation's a bit tedious, thunderstorms and stuff like that. So yeah, it's unfortunate to see your race end so early, but hopefully you can still enjoy the broadcast.
And please sit back and enjoy our broadcast. Todd Viney, Peter Viney, even Todd Viney might have played for Melbourne in the AFL if you follow that. But there we go. Please follow. Not even storms, but please let's have spare a thought for Peter Viney as we take a look at a very sexy looking battle here between. Yes! Fantastic! And he's following now. And he might be back in 1864, Prince, but he's following the channel and he's become part of our family now.
Yeah, welcome to the family, Mr. Viney. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
And there we go. No wonder they didn't have a lot to do apart from drink and ride horses and rob banks and make babies and all that sort of stuff back in the day, because it does get quite boring, Mr. Viney. when the power is out. And let's have a look at this battle, which we were just looking at a second ago. This is for P5. Convoy doesn't mind a close battle, does he?
Yeah, this battle's been slowly developing, so Mr. Partington's been doing really, really well. His pace is actually, his last lap time round was a little bit quicker than Mr. Convoy, so Mr. Convoy is got to get a bit of a move on, I think. He's going to have a bit of pressure here.
Ooh, pressure creates what, Prince?
What? Disaster? Sorry, I went to the worst end of the scale possible.
I was about to say the Titanic sinking, that's a disaster, but or what's the
no,
joke?
We're not using them like F1600 controllers around here, you know?
You could just give it to anyone and throw it around, and, you know, a 15-year-old kid could, you know, steer this thing, and then, yeah. But I was about to say, that reminds me of the lady who backed into the fan, that disaster. And, yeah, that's a terrible one. But I was about to say that pressure makes diamonds, but the moment's gone, Prince, and I'm losing it again. That we've got 21 and a half minutes to get it. Disaster as Convoy, nothing better than watching a McLaren go through the bus stop chicane there. And let's have a look at what else is happening around the track. There's our race leader, 27, with the triangular shape on his number there as we head back to the broadcast camera. 21 minutes to go, Prince.
Yeah, so I was just going to jump in. The battle between Mr. Glow, Boxall and Zeri is kind of heating up for P19 at the moment.
Oh, okay. Let's have a look at this. Look at this. We've got Glow, Boxall and Zeri all together. And we're looking at Jerry Zeri at the moment, but we've got M Glow. And Jerry Zeri. That's not the ideal line to be taking through there, Prince.
Yeah, the stewards are going to be having a field day with that one. You know, track limits are all the way over here, Mr. Zeri. If you need to, I can give you a taxi, you know.
Wow, he's...
I'm going to have, like, my PMs after this fucking blowing up now.
He didn't... I didn't think he was going to come back on. He went that far offline. He was in another postcode, but Jerry Zeri now... outside the top 20, we said that he hasn't had the best race by his standards. He's fourth in the championship, Prince. Who knows where he will end up at the end of tonight, as we've got Tommy Emmanuel coming in to the pit, so that's interesting. And I'm wondering when we are going to see our top 10 guys coming into the pits, but Emmanuel coming in. And then it's Mr. Bracken, as we see, 7 a.m. local time here. And that sun can be quite a distraction, can't it, Prince, at times, as just rising up over the hill.
Yeah, so funnily enough, the sun has almost got less detriment to you when it's coming up around Watkins, Glen. But when it goes down, it almost blinds you through a majority of the corners and you can't see. So I think a lot of these guys would maybe prefer the sunrise rather than the sunset.
And we take a look now as Mr. Viney says the top guys will be going very, very long into this race, Prince. He's suggesting, Mr. Peter Viney, that we're not going to see those at the pointy end of the field tonight coming in anytime soon. Interesting.
Yeah, I think he might actually be on the money there. A majority of people, I believe, you know, the longer you stay out, the less traffic you're going to have to try and work your way past in that scenario. So Mr. Viney, definitely on the money there. But this battle, I'm sorry, I'm just watching another battle. The battle for P10 between Mr. Priatko Perkins and Maddox is also heating up there.
Splash and dash. Splash and dash, says Mr. Viney. But that battle's close too. Half a second between second and third. And, oh, Maddox and Perkins. Maddox and Perkins make that Priatko, Maddox and Perkins, because he's got that move done. And you called it perfectly, Prince. Just like I would expect from a Nigerian Prince. Coming off the back of a hot Ethiopian summer. He has gone through. And he has got the job done there on Larry Perkins. Might even be bloody Lee Perkins as well.
That was a great move. So these guys have been, I've been watching the gap slowly come down between a couple of drivers, and, you know, they slowly creep in closer and closer, and their moves get done, and then all of a sudden we see people diving in a pit lane. So it's one of those ones, I think you hold out as long as you can. When you get overtaken and you lose a little bit too much time, you just bite the bullet and you come in.
Less than 18 minutes remaining as we look at the rear wing from the Russian Pryadko, and the Siberian man inside the top 10 at the moment, looking good, but he's got Robbie Maddox right up behind him as we take a look up close and personal with the Russian. If you want to jump off the seat, just go and do it. Sorry, talking to my dog here. You're going to have to jump off there. There we go. You get a haircut tomorrow. As there we go. So look at this man working the wheel. Always great to get an interior perspective of how the drivers are going around this circuit. Very challenging, a lot of undulations and elevation changes, and very easy to get it wrong. But it's lovely to see these drivers right inside the cockpit, Prince, and seeing them do what they do best. And my goodness, that looked like a very close car. That might have been a little bit of Robbie Maddox down the outside, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that was a great move by Mr. Maddox. So just got a little bit better of a run than Mr. Pryadko. Mr. Pryadko, the off camber of the corner just seemed to struggle a little bit with him. He was just getting a little bit of oversteer. So he seemed to collect it up, but unfortunately did drop down a position. But I'm sure he's going to be fighting hard to get that one back.
As we see
Mr. Siciliano.
We see Mr. Siciliano having a moment there, and I think you'll need a sprine after that, Prince, because he got it slightly wrong there as we're going to head back. This battle, my goodness me, what's happening? I think, Maddox and Macbeth. What is happening here? Prince, what is going on? What has happened to Shakespeare and Macbeth?
I think Mr. Macbeth was in this battle, and I think he might have come in early. I could be wrong. I'm trying to keep our eyes on as much things as possible, like you, Trev. We can only have our eyes at so many places at once, but this battle is now a 3-wide battle. It's no longer 2 wide anymore. It's about to go 3.
Oh, it's about to go down, and we've only got 2 sets of eyeballs between us. 1 set of eyeballs between us, which equates to 2 sets of eyeballs, equaling 4 total eyeballs in total. And it's hard to keep the eyes on the action, Prince, with so many delicious options here on the ACC race control. As Mr. Viney says, Macbeth just exited to the pits into this absolute shit show of a battle, and that explains why I was having a brain aneurysm when I saw him in the mix there.
Oh yeah, actually that would be a valid point. So Mr. Macbeth was up the fighting end of the grid, I believe. So the later pit stop seems to be throwing him down a little bit. So Mr. Maddox seems to have gained a little bit out of it. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Mr. Sneakers, who's in P8 and doesn't look like he's completed his requirement, even though I believe we saw him come in, Trev.
Ooh, 14. Could there be an extra twisty, spicy McTwist to this tale? We've got less than 15 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. And, we've got our top 8 Prince yet to come into the pits. Incredible. We've got Maddox, who's pitted, Macbeth in 10th, and everyone else from the Russian down, who has also made their pit stops. But let me tell you that, wow, we are in for an absolute barnstorming, blockbuster, show-stopping finish here, because the Russian wants a bit of action, and you can see, we can't see much from there, but he's right behind Macbeth coming through the bus stop. And Macbeth just getting away there. The Mercedes power. Mercedes versus Mercedes here, Prince. This is grandstand stuff here with 13 and a bit minutes.
Yeah, I was kind of almost expecting him to do another somewhat of a send. He was a little bit too far back in the scenario, but, he made a great move on Mr. Bradley into the bus stop chicane, so maybe he might be setting himself up, but he does have to remember he's got that pit stop to do, so he's got to make sure to do that at some point. So maybe getting past Mr. Macbeth isn't the right thing to do in this scenario. Maybe it's time to almost start planning. Let's get this pit stop done and figure out where we are.
Great advice. That is from a multiple champion across all facets of online sim racing, iRacing, ACC. What else? A bit of everything there, Prince. And you can see, and we spare a moment, of course, it is charity month. Don't forget to get amongst it. Prince, how can they get involved, please, if you don't mind? Oh, kebab! And a little bit of mixed kebab right behind the Russian. We'll get to you in a moment, Prince, but this is another battle here. Pryadko moves across, and you've got to just bring out every trick in the book you learnt in Moscow driving school, but I don't think it's going to work because he's through, and kebab is now up into P11 there.
Yeah, so these moves are slowly starting to happen as these drivers are getting their stops done, and they're starting to kind of, you know, their tyres are starting to get into that element and that groove, you know, where they're getting to that closing 12 minutes of the race. So tyres would be at almost their real optimum right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these battles develop.
So we will leave Pryadko there. We'll get back and just recap if you're joining us. Thank you, Prince. That's what I was going for. Yep, all done there beautifully. If you'd like to support a Lifeline for our charity month, please use the link, and it's in the chat there. And we would appreciate every single dollar, every single donation, and no matter how big or small, it all helps, doesn't it, Prince, to help out with our cause for Lifeline, and of course the month of August for Charity Month. Any donation you can make is a good one, isn't it, Prince?
Yeah, 100%. You know, whether it's $1, whether it's $100, you know, it's going to a great cause with supporting mental health and suicide prevention. And, you know, it's our 3rd annual charity month. So far we've raised $757, which is absolutely incredible, Trevor.
And it's only going to get better. Bigger and better, in fact, as we keep an eye on our race leader. I think he's coming up to some traffic. I think that might be Larry Perkins. He's going through there, but it's only going to get bigger, Prince, because next Sunday, we mentioned it already once, but it is going to go off at Kyalami. We're straight on a plane to the other side of the world, to South Africa, for what is going to be an absolutely fantastic race. We might even do a bit of a replay stream, or whatever you want to call it, leading into Sunday, because that's always a massive event, isn't it, to end August?
Yeah, it's going to be a massive, massive week next week. So everything's going to be all about Kyalami, and everything's going to be about the charity month coming to a close. So next Tuesday, we've got our season finale here with Shakedown, and we will be giving away 2 Moser R5 wheelbases with thanks to our sponsor GamerGearDirect. Then on the Friday, you know, Kyalami's not over there yet, you know. Friday, we've got the qualifying for the Lifeline 4 hours of Kyalami with the PS5 New Zealand Endurance Series, Australia-New Zealand Endurance Series, mind me saying. And then on the Sunday, we hit the spicy end of the deal with a 4-hour race. So next week, everything's coming to head. And might I add, we've got some gift cards to give away from SimRigs, a beautiful sponsor as well.
Beautiful sponsor, with thanks to SimRigs.com, Cataclysm, Sim Racing Computers, GGD, Simulation Superstore, and of course Lifeline are our great sponsors. GamerGearDirect, Lifeline Sprint Series Round 5, of course. And what a week of sim racing action we have. And we've got some breaking news from Mr. Viney that Johnny Sinekis, his pit stop did not clear. And it didn't clear, I don't think, Prince. What's happened? Drama.
Yeah, so I can see through my software that he spent the same amount of time as everybody else in pit lane. His time stopped was the time for fuel. So I appreciate you bringing that one to attention, Pete. I was going to message Mr. Sinekis later and just confirm it with him. So I'll make sure to remove whatever post-race penalty Mr. Sinekis gets, because, yeah, by what I can see, he has completed that pit stop requirement.
And you can see there, Mr. Viney also just saying, I've seen that occur, taking only 1 litre. So it is something to do with the game, isn't it, Prince? And, of course, Nigerian Prince has the power to not only take your bank account details, but he also can get rid of those post-race penalties. And that is also very good. Sound a bit like King Julian or something there. But lap 21 of this race, not good when you're coming off 3 weeks being crook. But Cooley Mango is leading the way. 15 seconds now ahead of our championship leader. for now, because I don't think Cooley Mango, he's well down the field in the championship race. I think Mr. Maloney still will be leading the championship if things stay as they are at the end of tonight.
Yeah, so provisionally he'll still be leading the championship, but Mr. Cooley's definitely going to propel himself a little bit further up into that top 5. So he's been slowly clawing away over the course of this season. You know, he's a driver that just likes to come here for the memes, and I do have to sort out that memes livery for you at some point, Trevor. It's kind of been bothering me a little bit.
It's been bothering me too. I don't really think about it until I'm staring right at him. But he's here for the memes. I'm not seeing too many memes at the moment. I'm seeing a lot of carbon fibre looking stuff, Prince. But we'll get that sorted as Mr. Maloney in second. Still the fastest lap going to Cooley Mango in P1 there. Matt Spinazzi in third. A solid race. How have you seen his performance, Prince, inside that top 3? Still not a bad result for the Spinaz.
Yeah, he's been doing really good. So, Mr. Spinazzi, I just want to touch on, he's our resident Shakedown esports driver at the moment. He's been doing the OOR Motorsport Australia GT3 Cup. So, he managed to walk away with a top 10 result in all 4 knockout rounds, which is very, very impressive. Managed to walk away with, I think it was a P8, P2 P9s and 2 P7s. So, very, very impressed, and I look forward to seeing him on the main stage. So, yeah, that's not too far away, but one thing I want to touch on for tonight with his performance, it's been going really well as we do see him dive into pit lane. You know, but the Porsche struggles quite a bit around here. It's definitely not the strongest track for it, but he's been doing really, really good for himself.
As Spinazzi into the pits, holy mackerel. This man's CV is very, very impressive as we wait for him to be attended to by his pit crew. Iscarni down here in fourth. He's slowly worked his way through the field here tonight, as we see with less than 6 minutes remaining. He's one of only a couple. I'm guessing that have another couple of people had that same glitch that Mr. Senekis has had. I don't think so, Prince. I think we've got Scarni still out there in fourth. Cooley Mango also yet to make a stop. What's happening further down the field? This battle, look at this. This is still like a raging inferno in the middle of a summer bushfire season. Look at these 17th, 18th, 19th still going hammer and tongs.
Yeah, so that's one thing which we love in Shakedown is no matter your skill level, you're going to be involved in a battle. Might be all race, might be half the race. But no matter what, you're going to be involved in a battle at some point in time. And it's good to see that we're getting to that closing 5 minutes and these 3 drivers still find themselves in that same piece of real estate. Incredible.
All of those decisions, all of those corners, all of those turns, all of those laps, all of that time, Prince. And there's only a kitten's whisker between all of them. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning, and any real race will tell you that. It's all about family, Prince. Oh, three into there. Does not go, Prince. And my tits are in my mouth for a little bit because that was just gut-busting stuff, and it didn't work out on that occasion.
Yeah, it didn't work out quite well, and Matt Glow looked like he panicked a little bit and had to take a bit of the grass as a safety precaution. So thankfully he did have a little bit of runoff there to collect his thoughts and he's straight back into it.
And I do apologise for these strange things coming out of my mouth at the moment, but Boxall right up behind Muriel's Wedding and Aaron Muriel in the 69 Lambo dinner for 2. I think he's the only Lambo in the field tonight as we see him come through the final part of the lap. This battle is intense. It's the closest battle, I think, Prince, on the circuit at the moment.
Yeah, quite possibly the closest battle. We do also have Mr. Bracken not far behind Mr. Partington for P12. And there is a battle for... Oh, we are on the battle, sorry, for Mr. Muriel. Further up, you've got Mr. Partington and Bracken for P12. And you've got Mr. Bab and Mr. Spinazzi for P7. So a couple of battles developing here in the closing minutes.
As Johnny Senekis down there in third, Iscarni in first. Does this man come into the pits?
According to my timing board, he hasn't come into pit lane yet. So Garni and Cooley are the only ones who haven't come in and completed the mandatory stop. Mr. Sneakers, I can see, has completed his mandatory stop. Although although ACC seems to have done ACC things and not quite marked it off, so he does have the same time served as everybody else. It's just for some reason not ticked it off for him.
And we've got some late race drama here with 2.5 minutes to go. Bradley, what has happened there? We're going to take a look at Mr. Bradley and what happened here, Prince. We're going to wait and see. And all on his own when this incident occurred, as he just got the back end out slightly onto the grass. The car gets unsettled over the bumps, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, just Porsche things. I hate to see it. You hate to see it.
As we wait for him. So we'll wait for 5 more seconds, Braddles, and then we're going to get back into it. And I think he's back onto the track. Yes, he is, all clear. And that hasn't done the back of that Porsche any good at all. He's down the back, Prince, but he's still running, albeit 2 laps down.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about Mr. Bradley and a lot of these other drivers. You know, sometimes when things don't quite go your way, you know, mistakes are going to happen, whether it's your own fault or you're involved with somebody else. Mistakes happen, and the one thing I do love to see is when drivers push through that and still manage to make their way to the checkered flag. You know, the perseverance, so to speak, to be able to push through that and achieve greatness at the end is something ideal. You know, no matter where you finish, making it to the checkered flag after a mistake is still a big deal.
It's not about where you start, it's where you finish. And I've got to say, things you love to see, Prince. This battle continues. Pretty cheeky there, Bracken, Bits and Bracken, as he comes out of the bus stop through this flowing corner here, heading towards the tip of the boot. And the race leader's on the final lap. Scarni going for a goat last lap stop to try and trick the game. Worked at Imola. Thank you for that, Mr. Viney. But this battle is continuing to rage here as we get into the penultimate lap of the race. Prince down the inside. No, not going to get it done there on Partington Bear. And he's going to get up pretty early to get past this man. And we take a look now. All sorts of pressure being applied here, Prince, on the last few laps.
Yeah, this is kind of what it's all down to now, whether it's to gain 1 position or whether it's to gain 2. It's your moment to shine, and you've got to take those opportunities no matter what.
As we take a look, lap 25 of this race, it's still Cooley, Chris, Mango in first, Johnny Senekis in second, Maloney in third, Maddox in fourth. As we'll get back to our race leader shortly. And the man who's here for the memes is here for the victory. And yes! Fantastic! And Jason Wilkinson joins the race after the timer. The countdown time is finished, Prince, but better late than never.
Yeah, better late than never, Mr. Wilco, son. Hope you're doing well.
And this man subscribing at Tier 1, and he's subscribed for 9 months, currently on a 9-month streak. OMG, I'm late, I'm sorry, but hey, get me the lamb skewers, please. And don't mind... Oh, I got fastest lap too.
Oh, look at you go.
But... Oh, yes, he crushed my hopes and dreams. That was at Miami, Prince, that little snippet of audio. And, I got the fastest lap. Oh, look at you go. And,
Sorry to jump in, Mr. Cooley coming to finish the race.
Fastest lap too. And as I hear my own...
Look at you go.
And that is the last lap of the race, done and dusted. It is Chris Cooley Mango Sauce, the man who's here for the memes, has taken the victory here tonight. Johnny Senekis across the line in second, and then it's Mr. Maloney. Oh, that looked serious, didn't it? Robbie Maddox in fourth, and Jamie Conboy in fifth, I reckon. And who else have we got across the line? Herod's. Not the famous clothing store in the UK, but he's coming across the line as well.
So box,
no need for that. And Johnny Senekis has been whacked with a penalty right between his South African eyeballs. But that will be removed post-race, Prince. But what a race. We did see Cooley Mango out front really dominating that race, but like we always like to see. And we did see tonight, in fact, plenty of battles well and truly throughout the field. And speaking of which, this battle continues as Jerry Zeri getting fishy with it. Down the end there of that one. Muriel's Wedding in 16th. Boxall in 16th, Muriel in 15th, as I think that's everyone running. In fact, I think we've got Larry Perkins and coming around the final corner. How was the race? Well, it was a Cooley Mango Sauce Master Stroke, Master Clinic, Master Class. Thank goodness I got there in the end. And so did Larry Perkins, who wasn't without his troubles. And Big Lazar Perkins, says Wilco. Lee Perkins, in fact, as we see the final results there on your screen. What a race. And he deserves to do a bit of Tokyo drifting style there at the moment, because he was in a class of his own tonight, Prince.
Yeah, very impressive effort. So Mr. Cooley just thought he was going to hit Mr. Bradley for a second. But no, a masterclass drive. So obviously Mr. Sneakers will finish in P2. And we will be correcting that on the post-race results, as he has completed his mandatory pit stop. So, interesting race tonight, Trev. You know, very clean racing, plenty of good battles. Too. Where do we kind of, where do we dissect this one?
Go.
But
Hey, Trev. I appear to have maybe lost Trev. I'm all alone.
And there's nobody here beside me. I'm back. And yeah, sorry about that. I was
okay.
I was talking to myself, which is not too uncommon. Salragus, as we see Scarney doing some donuts, says, and then Wilco, I'm all alone and there's no one here beside me. And remember the donkey out of Shrek. But there we have it. The final results of this race are that we have had a very dominant victory for Chris Cooley, and then it's Johnny Sinekas. Is he still in second, Prince, I believe?
Yeah, so you can press escape and go to the timing boards if you would like to.
If only.
But yeah, Mr. Sinekas does finish in P2.
And
yeah, return to garage and timetables.
There we go, and there we have it. So Chris Cooley winning the race. Tom Maloney, I believe, maintains his championship lead there in second. Then it's Robbie Maddox in third. And the Aston is back, says our man. And you can see the donuts continuing in the background there. There's a set of tyres that are free to a good home. But the Aston is back, Mr. Viney. And you can see their convoy fourth, Mbab in fifth, the Spinars in sixth. And Macbeth, we got 26 laps in the end, over 46 minutes here tonight, and right throughout the field, some interesting battles all the way down the field. Have we got anybody to talk to, Prince, coming into the post-race tonight?
We sure do. I've just dragged them all in. John, I just want to take a quick moment before Trev starts taking away these commentary interviews. I have made a note. You have completed your pit stop requirement. You will retain P2.
Oh, thanks, mate. Appreciate
No
that.
problem.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure what happened.
No, that's sometimes ACC things, but I'll leave it to Trev. Trev, take away these commentary.
Thank you. We've got our race winner, Chris Cooley, on the line. Chris, an absolute masterclass here tonight, my friend. Talk us through your race tonight from start to finish. You must have been lonely out there.
You got to unmute yourself, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, thanks, mate. I'm muted. Like technology, you know. It's a good race, good quality. I got cucked a few times by some back markers, but you know what they say. Fucking, oh, sorry, excuse my language. Only milk and juice comes in 2 liters, not a big fucking Aston V8 twin turbo. You know, stupid McLaren, and can't keep up, eh?
And
But no, it's a good race. It was pretty lonely, but I had my tunes and bloody Farnham egging me on in the background. So I had that cranked up to 11. Neighbour's not happy, but fuck, whatever. What are you going to do, mate? Fuck off.
yeah, and great stuff, and absolutely great advice, Chris. Looking ahead to the final round of the season, you are looking good going into the final round, mate. How are you feeling before the end of the season? They're short seasons, but you're looking forward to next week?
Yeah, it's good. I think the Aston Martin is pretty impressive there because it's got a big V8, So it's going to be good. It's going to be hopefully competitive. I've done a bit of practice there recently. Should be tip top, mate.
And thank you for that, Chris. Awesome performance tonight, mate. Absolutely put on a clinic, mate. We'll catch you next week.
Oh, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. Everything you do. Cam, and the commentary is fucking tip top,
Ah, yes. I want to have a beer with you, Chris. And thank you for that. Men want to have a beer with him. Women want to sleep with him, as they say, as Johnny Sinekis has joined us after not without some controversy there throughout that race. So you come into the pits, Johnny, but it said you didn't come into the pits. What happened?
I don't know, mate. The guys just dropped the ball. They picked me up. I saw the fuel go in. They dropped me. I drove away and then realized it didn't tick the mandatory. I have no idea, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something I messed up on my side, but it's decided to try the undercut and it worked, but it didn't tick off the pit stop.
Well, that is why the Nigerian Prince has the power to take off that sort of stuff post-race, mate. So P2 in the end, also not bad for your championship as well, heading into the final round.
Yeah, I think, look, it was, Cooley was definitely on a different level today. He's very good. That Aston is so good and OP, one would say, at most tracks. He's going to be tough to beat at Kailami. Matthew is very good at Kailami. Tom is very good at Kailami. Luckily, the McLaren isn't. So, I don't know, should be fun for the next, for the finale.
Certainly should be, mate. P2 tonight, and congratulations and all the best. Home race next week, mate. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Should be fun.
Great stuff. Johnny Sinekis there as we head to our man in P3, Tom Maloney. Has he got us there?
Yep, certainly have, mate. Certainly have.
Loud and clear, my friend. Now, talk us through your race tonight, mate. A podium. Do you have an eye for that championship as well, heading into the final round?
Look, it's I've done everything I can to put myself there, but I am climbing uphill. This McLaren is not very good at Kyalami, so we'll be hoping for some misfortune, unfortunately. But certainly didn't do myself a disservice and left myself in there to let that sort of thing happen. So looking forward to next week.
Great stuff. An endurance race next week, mate. How are you feeling? Obviously, it's going to be tight, isn't it? The championship coming in tonight, just 3 points, I think, separating the top three. So what's the plan? Is there going to be a few nerves getting around before the final race?
I think just sort of doing some calculations on my head, John will have the lead by a point going into the final race, which will make it really, really exciting. And it's ultimately just another race. You can put some nerves in it, but that just sort of takes away from the enjoyment. So just going to go there, turn up, have some fun. If it all goes my way, awesome.
Great stuff. There we have it. Congratulations, Tom. P3 tonight, mate. We'll catch you next week for the season finale.
Thank you, boys. Looking forward to it.
Great stuff. There we have it. Your 3, 2, and 1. Tom Maloney, Johnny Sinekis, and Chris Cooley. And great to hear from their race winner. And great stuff there. But we're almost out of time, Prince, as he's gone now. I think I might have offended him with that. But great stuff. I could listen to that all day. And just like listening to Johnny Sinekis say the word Kailami, I could listen to that all day as well. But we're almost out of time, Prince. 1 round to go. And who needs a graphics card? I was to say, Prince, because we've been travelling beautifully the last couple of weeks, and it all comes to a head. The championship finale. My goodness, my juices are going to be flowing, and that's not something you want to imagine. But 1 round to go, Prince. It all comes down to next week.
Yeah, that's it. So season finale, 1 round to go of the GamerGearDirect LifeLine Sprint Series at Kyalami. Tuesday next week. If you're not there, you better be square. And I just want to add in one last time, Friday and Sunday next week. Also, we've got the GamerGearDirect Lifeline 4 hours of Kailami with the PS5 Endurance Series. So I'm looking forward to that one. So if you haven't, now's the time to hit the follow button because you're not going to be wanting to miss out on next week's explosive season finale.
Massive, ginormous, gigantic, Titanic. It'll be a bit better ending than the Titanic, but you know what I'm trying to say? It's going to be huge, and it's the Endurance Week. We've made our reservations at the Kailami Motel in Kailami because we're going to be there for a couple of weeks. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have time for. Do not forget, there we have it on your screen. A big thank you, big shout out to our sponsors here for the Shakedown Sim Racing, GamerGearDirect, LifeLine Sprint Series, SimRigs.com, Cataclysm Sim Racing Computers, GGD Simulation Superstore, and of course, Prince, a cause very close to our hearts in LifeLine. Don't forget, you can see in the chat, if you're still watching, and I know you are out there, please donate anything you can. $1 is better than nothing, and every little bit counts. But that's all we've got time for, ladies and gentlemen, here this evening. We will see you next time around. Be kind to one another, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.